peace to everyone. This is one of the most emotionally charged moments in the gospel story. A journey that began with wonder and hope is now moving steadily towards sacrifice. Jesus is no longer seen only as a teacher. He is walking with purpose toward a defining moment. But his closest followers are still thinking in older categories, shaped by past expectations rather than the future he is revealing. James and John, often called the sons of thunder, aren't acting impulsively. In their minds, they are standing on familiar spiritual ground. They believe they are defending God's honor, drawing inspiration from stories they know well. To understand their reaction, we need to understand the history. The tension between Jews and Samaritans had existed for centuries. It was rooted in political division, religious disagreement, and long-standing mistrust. Each group believed they represented the true center of worship. So when Jesus deliberately traveled toward Jerusalem, it carried meaning. To the Samaritans, it felt like a rejection of their own sacred traditions. Their refusal to welcome him wasn't just about lodging. It reflected a deeper disagreement over identity and belief. The disciples took this personally. To them, it felt like a rejection of God's plan itself. James and John weren't inventing their response. They were remembering a well-known story from the Hebrew Scriptures, 2 Kings chapter 1. In that account, the prophet Elijah stands firm against a hostile king, and divine authority is dramatically demonstrated. For generations, this story had symbolized God's defense of his messengers. To the disciples, the logic seemed clear. If earlier rejection of God's prophet carried serious consequences, shouldn't rejecting God's Son matter even more? But this moment reveals a common human mistake, using sacred stories to validate our own frustration, without asking whether the moment, the mission, or the covenant has changed. Jesus responds firmly. The gospel writer uses a word that signals authority and correction, the same word used when Jesus confronts chaos and restores peace. He tells them, "You do not understand the spirit behind what you are asking." This is a turning point. Jesus is revealing that the way God works in this new chapter of history is fundamentally different. The mission has shifted, not away from truth, but toward redemption. Jesus clarifies his purpose with a sentence that defines the gospel. The Son of Man did not come to end lives, but to restore them. The implications reach far beyond this moment. Faith is never meant to be used as a weapon. Winning an argument is never more important than preserving dignity and hope. Sometimes the most faithful response to rejection is simply to move forward in peace. There's a beautiful twist in the story. Years later, in the book of Acts, these same disciples return to Samaria. But this time, they come not with anger, but with blessing. Instead of calling for destruction, they bring healing, unity, and the presence of the Spirit. We all encounter our own Samaritan villages, people who disagree with us, dismiss us, or challenge what we believe. Our instinct may be to demand fairness or consequences. But Jesus invites us to choose a different response. He did not come to defeat his enemies. He came to give himself for them. The power of God is no longer about destruction, but about transformation. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, consider sharing it with someone who might need encouragement today. It is all about Jesus.